Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you some latest news on James Garner. Then after that I'm going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. Then I'm going to be giving you the latest news on Adam Traore from Wolves because he has huge developments on him. Then I am going to be giving you the latest news of what Danny Rose has come out and said regarding Mauricio Pochettinho. So that's what I'm going to be negotiating with you about on this video today. But let's start with the news on James Garner. I think I mentioned James Garner not too long ago. So reportedly Manchester United are set to allow James Garner to go out on loan next season. Now, according to the Daily Mail, there is 3 Championship clubs that are interested in James Garner, and that is Swansea City, Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday. James Garner's appearances have been limited at the football club. I think James Garner's made around 7 first-team appearances. Of course, up until this point, James Garner has spent the entirety of his career with the football club. James Garner has been a Manchester United player since the age of 8, and now he is the age of 19. James Garner, by the way, has got a contract with the football club until 2022, but there is also an option of a further year. James Garner, made his debut in the Europa League against Partizan Belgrade, I think. He also made his Premier League debut in our 3-1 win against Crystal Palace last season. So yeah, we have confirmed we are willing to let him go out on loan for next season, so he can obviously get more first team football and that. So he actually could go to the Championship. So they're the 3 Championship clubs, Wednesday, Cardiff and Swansea, that are interested in getting him in. I do believe Man United anyway are going to loan quite a few players out. Obviously now there's been rumours that we're going to loan Ethan Laird out. There's also been talks that we're going to loan Dylan Levitt out as well. And as it stands at the moment, we've got quite a few players out on loan. Obviously, Smalling's out on loan with Roma. Got to say he's been a revelation since his arrival in Italy. As Chris Smalling did endure 9 years at Manchester United, but I don't think he'll be coming back to Man United. Obviously, we've got Marcus Rojo out on loan at Estudiantes. Obviously, we've got Dean Henderson out on loan at Sheffield United, and he's been a revelation for Sheffield United. I don't think we're willing to get rid of Dean Henderson on a permanent transfer, but I think, we are willing to loan him back out next season because David De Gea is going to remain our number 1 goalkeeper. And of course, we've got Alexis Sanchez out on loan at Inter Milan. Sanchez is facing a dilemma at the moment because, we don't want him back at Man United. Inter Milan don't want to get him, permanently. Like I said, I don't think, we'll be able to get rid of Sanchez permanently, reflecting on his substantial wages at the football club. Sanchez is on, 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week based on the image rights and the bonuses. It has confirmed, by the way, today that Smalling, Henderson's and Sanchez's loans will be extended for the remainder of the season because I think their current loan spells do expire at the end of next month. So that's obviously very, very positive news in that. So yeah, we have got quite a few players out on loan. By the way, Joe Pereira's also been out on loan with Hearts, but I think we're going to recall him from his loan spell with Hearts. Tahith Chong, maybe Manchester United should loan him out because his appearances have also been limited at the football club. Tahith Chong did make his competitive debut in our 2-0 win against Reading in the FA Cup 3rd round last season. Hasn't really, played much for Manchester United though. He isn't at that elite level as yet, is, Tahith Chong. So maybe, we should loan him out as well. So yeah, so that is the latest news on James Garner. Now, I'm going to delve into the news on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. Now, recent reports did say that, Manchester United are plotting a triple transfer swoop for Jude Bellingham, Mark Juado, and Joe Hugel. So they're the 3 players, that we obviously we're planning to recommend in. We also want to get Jude Bellingham's brother as part of the deal of getting Jude Bellingham in. I think his brother is called Joe Bellingham. Jude Bellingham's expected to cost us around £30 million, maybe £35 million. Don't forget, we have made a promise to Jude Bellingham that if he signs for Manchester United this summer, he will immediately become a first team player in that. So we are willing to offer him a senior role. Don't forget, back in March, Jude Bellingham had visited our Carrington training ground. He obviously, held talks with Sir Alex Ferguson, and Ed Woodward had held negotiations with his parents. So reflecting on that, that fueled quite a lot of speculation up. But Jude Bellingham had given his verdict on his tour around Carrington, and I think he was very, very satisfied by it. Now, the reports that have been recently coming out regarding Jude Bellingham, were totally contrast a couple of months ago, because a couple of months ago reports were stemming from the German press saying that Borussia Dortmund were emerged as the favourites to sign Jude Bellingham and that. A few other clubs have been interested in him. Obviously, this has been Jude Bellingham's first season in the senior squad with Birmingham, and I've got to make an admission, he has been a revelation in the Championship. I think Bellingham has played around 35 games this season in all competitions, so he's been playing persistently. Obviously, he became the youngest player to represent Birmingham, made his senior debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. Jude Bellingham, his current salary at the moment is £145 a week, but when he does turn 17, which I think is next month, he will be signing his professional contract with Birmingham, will the player. But he is only at the age of 16, so he is inexperienced, but Bellingham's versatility is very, very good, because you can put him on the left, you can put him on the right, you can play him centrally, and I think you can also put Jude Bellingham in the number 10 and that. Some people have got different perceptions on Bellingham. Some would say give him another season in the Championship, to obviously, gain more experience in that. Because he's still inexperienced at the moment. But some players that come from the Championship to the Premier League, tend to do very, very well. Prime example, we've seen it with Daniel James. We got Daniel James from Swansea last summer for just £15 million. Daniel James has played 37 games in all competitions this season, so you can say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been overplaying him, but, James has definitely been a revelation. He really, really hasn't that. So there you go. So that is the news on Jude Bellingham, but we are close to signing the player. Yes, we are in that. And yeah. So now let's delve into news on Adam Traore from Wolves. He's the latest player to be on Manchester United's agenda. So according to League 10 Sport, which is a French outlet, they have said that Manchester United, City, Liverpool and Bayern Munich are all interested in signing Adam Traore from Wolves. Now, I think this has been Adam Traore's second season with Wolves. I think he's made around 79 appearances in all competitions. He has got a contract with Wolves until 2023, so still got around 3 years remaining on his contract. Very, very good player is Adam Traore, can play as a winner, and he can also operate as a wing-back. He is only at the age of 24 and, of course, well proven in the Premier League. Obviously, Wolves did pay £18 million for him a couple of years ago from Middlesbrough. I think they triggered his £18 million release clause. I think Adam Traore enjoyed a couple of years with Middlesbrough. Before he was at Middlesbrough, he was at Aston Villa. I think he enjoyed a year or so with them. And before he was at Aston Villa, he was at Barcelona. He began his career with Barcelona, and I think he was at Barcelona for several years. Now, probably Adam Traore would probably cost around £70 million if Wolves were to offload him. There's actually some reports saying that his valuation is alleged to be £133 million, which is a substantial amount for Adam Traore. So there's a number of clubs that have expressed their interest in him. So do you think, he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United and that? But he's a player, that's very good on the ball. He can pass the ball. His defensive contributions very, very good. Mate, I can pinpoint some weaknesses of his game as well. I heard that his decision making, is not really good sometimes. That's one of the weaknesses of his game. I think he's supposed to be effective in the air as well. But he's been very, very good since his arrival at Wolves. He really, really hasn't that. Like I said, Wolves, a pretty good team now. They've got some good players. Nuno Santo's a pretty decent manager. Wolves did finish 7th last season, so reflecting on that, they got qualification for the Europa League. Wolves, of course, progressed to the FA Cup semi-finals last season for the first time in 21 years. But Adam Traore, has been key to this. He really, really has. But yeah, so yeah, there's us, Liverpool, City, and that are interested in the player. So yeah, so that's the latest news on Adam Traore. Don't forget, we're also in for Raul Jimenez from Wolves, and I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Raul Jimenez on a regular basis. Raul Jimenez's father has been talking a lot recently. I think he gave a rare interview in Mexico, and he was talking about his son's future at Wolves, and he insists his son is happy with Wolves. By the way, Raul Jimenez's father is also called Raul Jimenez. But he did make an admission saying that his son is flattered by the interest of Manchester United and Juventus and that. He's flattered by the interest. But he has confirmed as Raul Jimenez's father that, there has been no transfer talks. You had Duncan Castles coming out a couple of days ago. He was talking a lot about Raul Jimenez, saying that, Wolves have decided that they'll sell Raul Jimenez at the end of the season if the right offer comes in. This is what, Duncan Castles had said. And Duncan Castles tends to be close to Man United. And he also said that Man United and Juventus are set to battle it out for Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez has also been very, very good at Wolves. This has been his second season that he's enjoyed with Wolves. He's made around 67 appearances in the Premier League and he's scored around 26 Premier League goals. Wolves did pay 34 million for Raul Jimenez, so I think he is their most expensive signing. He has got a contract with Wolves until 2023. Obviously, before Wolves got him permanently, obviously, enjoyed the season on loan with Wolves, but reflecting on what he did on that loan spell, Wolves decided to get him on a permanent transfer. But he's been very, very good for Wolves as Raul Jimenez. Obviously, before he was at Wolves, he was at Benfica. He enjoyed a few years with Benfica, did Raul Jimenez, but I heard that he wasn't so good. Before then, he was at Atletico Madrid. And obviously before then he was in America because he was in their youth system and that. And Raul Jimenez is 29 years of age. So that's my only element of concern about him really, is his age. But if the opportunity was there, I'd take Raul Jimenez. Same sort of perception with Adam Traore, because Raul Jimenez, again, well Premier League proven like Traore, prolific goal scorer, can hold up the play very, very well. And Raul Jimenez, doesn't really, get a lot of injuries, let's be honest. He really, really doesn't get a lot of injuries. Raul Jimenez would probably cost in the 60 odd or 70 odd million pound range, something like that. Obviously, Wolves will obviously want to generate quite a bit more money than what they paid for him last summer. Obviously, George Mendes has been working with Wolves in recent years. I think he's been key to some of the players that they have recruited in recent years. He's been key to it as George Mendes, and he's been working on Wolves getting an adequate replacement for Raul Jimenez. And that's obviously Carlos Vinicius from Benfica and that. But I'm very, very sceptical that Man United will sign Raul Jimenez. So there you go. And now, but like I've said to there's been a hell of a lot of strikers on our agenda. Of course, you saw my video that I did yesterday. I give you the news on Erling Haaland. We know the ongoing situation with Erling Haaland. Like I said, I'm very, very sceptical that Man United or Madrid will sign Haaland this summer. The couple of main explanations is because Borussia Dortmund only got him in January. They paid £17 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg, and he signed a contract with Dortmund until 2024. And plus, Dortmund, would demand over £100 million for him this summer. Well, actually, yesterday, it confirmed that Borussia Dortmund had revealed their asking price. So if Dortmund are willing to let him go before the summer of 2022, they said they want £107 million for Erling Haaland. Real Madrid have obviously, confirmed their plans. They're planning to sign Haaland and Kylian Mbappe next summer, which is the summer of 2021. It's confirmed anyway that Borussia Dortmund have got a verbal agreement with Mini Raiola, Haaland's agent, to keep Haaland at Dortmund at least until the summer of 2022 and that. I think Haaland's release clause does become active either next summer or it's the summer of 2022. His release clause is around £63 million, I think. It was a shame that we didn't get Erling Haaland in January, like I mentioned, because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. Because obviously, Solskjaer knows the player really, really well. Because obviously, Solskjaer, worked with Haaland at Molde. Solskjaer was the one that gave Haaland his debut at just the age of 16. So Solskjaer, was keen on a reunion with the player. And it was a shame that we didn't get him in January because, he was a cheap solution. He really, really wasn't that. But, don't forget Solskjaer, did not break the rule in February because, he says, he wouldn't talk about, players from other clubs and that, which he really didn't. Erling Haaland is only at the age of 19. So it was a shame, that we didn't get him, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so the news on Erling Haaland, you also know the news on Moussa Dembele from Lyon, because there was a lot of reports coming out, the other week, saying that we'd allegedly agreed a fee in the region of £62 million with Lyon for Moussa Dembele. This is what it said, because reportedly it said that Moussa Dembele wants to come to Man United and he'd find it hard to turn down a move to Manchester United. So the news on Moussa Dembele, you know the news on Timo Werner and that. I said on my video, didn't I did a couple of days ago, Timo Werner to Manchester United this summer is a possibility, but I think it is very, very unlikely. What I think is going to happen with Werner is either going to remain at Leipzig until next summer, or he's going to join Liverpool this summer. Don't forget, David Ornstein, who's a credible journalist, he's been talking a lot recently, about he's been talking a lot about Werner and that. Also, too, he's been talking about Sancho. And Ornstein, did say the other week, Liverpool may not sign any players in the summer because Werner's revealed, that he wants to make a move to Liverpool. He's already, turned down a move to Bayern Munich and that. So whether Werner goes to Liverpool or not, I do not know. But he's a cheap solution, he's got a £52 million release clause. In reality, he'd be probably worth around 90 or 100 million pounds, reflecting on how good he is. But, he's available for £52 million, is Werner. Like I said, if Leipzig don't win the Bundesliga, I think his release clause reduces from 52 million to 44 million pounds. And Werner's versatility is also very, very good in that. So there's been a lot of strikers on our agenda. The ongoing situation with Ighalo. We don't know whether we're going to be getting Odion Ighalo on a permanent basis yet. Obviously, Shanghai Shenhua have said they want £20 million to let Odion Ighalo go on a permanent transfer. I think we've actually got reservations about paying 20 million to get him permanently. Solskjaer did make an admission though, saying that we could decide to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. Reflecting on how good he's done so far. To be fair, Odion Ighalo has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club, and got to make an admission, he has been a very, very good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. And we're paying like a third of his wages, because his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week. Don't forget, Odion Ighalo did say that he wants his loan deal at the football club extending and that. So there you go. But we definitely need to recommend the striker in. So now let's give you the news on Danny Rose, who of course is now on loan at Newcastle. Joined Newcastle on loan in January from Tottenham. Danny Rose has come out and he's actually said that Mauricio Pochettinho will eventually end up managing Manchester United. This is what Danny Rose has come out and said. Now, earlier on in the season, Mauricio Pochettinho, was relentlessly linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. Obviously, this is when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was close to getting the sack. It, revealed that Pochettinho, was interested in coming to Man United, and, he'd been in negotiations and that with the football club. Obviously, before we got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, we was in for Mauricio Pochettinho. Maybe we should have recommended Mauricio Pochettinho in after Jose Mourinho's sacking and that. Now, I don't think we're going to get Mauricio Pochettinho anyway, because obviously, he's favourite to take over at Newcastle. I don't think yet, the Saudi Arabians have taken over at Newcastle. Don't forget, Mike Ashley, agreed to sell Newcastle for around £300 million. The Saudi Arabians, like I said, are worth a good £300 billion, something like that. They're worth a good £300 billion. I think they are run by Amanda Staveley, the Saudi Arabian group and that. And yeah, so Newcastle, if they can get their takeover completed. You know, they want to recommend Mauricio Pochettino in to replace Steve Bruce. He said from Sky Sports quite a few weeks ago now, you know, saying that Newcastle are willing to offer Pochettino around 19 million a year. Newcastle may have to pay something to Tottenham in compensation as well. So there you go. So Danny Rose believes he'll end up being Manchester United manager. It may mean like the foreseeable future, you know, not maybe at this present time. But I do like Pochettino. You know, Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Obviously, you know, he won 159 games out of the 293 games he managed for Tottenham in all competitions. I think he managed around 113 games in the Premier League for Tottenham. 202 games in the Premier League for Tottenham and won 113 of them. I analysed the vast majority of Pochettino's tenure at Tottenham, and you know, Tottenham, you know, were mainly competing in and out of the top four. The element of concern about Mauricio Pochettino, though, is that he hasn't won out in terms of silverware. Don't forget, you know, he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last season. You know, he really, really did in that. And I think, you know, in reality, Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. And, you know, they made a mistake by recommending Jose Mourinho in, because Jose Mourinho has now passed his sell-by date. No, you know, he's passed his sell-by date. He's got a bad reputation with top players, you know. Yeah, you know, because he had a lot of bad disputes with our top players in his 2.5 years at Man United and that. And he's got a good pedigree behind him, you know, reflects on the amount of silverware he's won, but, you know, he's no longer a good manager. You know, Pochettino's managed 3 clubs so far. Obviously, you know, the recent one was Tottenham. Before that, he managed Southampton. I think Pochettino also guided Southampton to their highest ever finish. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol, was, you know, Mauricio Pochettino and that. But yeah, so this is what Danny Rose has come out and said. But, you know, we are going to be sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the time being. Like I said, you know, we are going to give him at least another season at the football club and give him at least a couple of more transfer windows. You know, United fans have got different perceptions on Solskjaer. You know, some United fans think he can get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. Some United fans don't think he's a foreseeable future for Man United. And, you know, some United fans, you know, believe we need to recommend a manager in at the top level, such as a Jurgen Klopp or the Pep Guardiola and that. But, you know, it wasn't only in for Pochettino earlier on in this season. You know, there was also talks about, you know, Massimiliano Allegri coming into the football club. I think he resigned as Juventus manager last summer, if I am correct in that. So, there you go. But yeah, we're going to be definitely not giving Solskjaer more time, like I said, because it is a transition period. And like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period and that. Like I've said on the other videos, I have seen improvements under Solskjaer, and I've also seen changes under Solskjaer. You know, there's players that have improved under Solskjaer as well. A lot of players have improved under him. I think you can say his change of personnel and his change of tactics. Like I said, something else that's improved is our record against the Big Six sides this season, because we've registered like 17 points against the Big Six sides this season, which is very, very good. You know, obviously, you know, Solskjaer's beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times this season as a manager. You know, become the first manager to do that in history. He's beaten Chelsea 4 times as a manager since he got recommended in. I don't think we've lost to Chelsea since Solskjaer came in. You know, we drew with Liverpool earlier on this season. You know, Solskjaer's obviously, you know, beaten Tottenham twice as a manager, and he's beaten Jose Mourinho once and that. So we've done very, very well against, you know, elite opposition and that. I think I've also got to say, you know, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well, because some of the young players have been given their opportunities this season. You know, I think Greenwood's done very, very well. I expect Greenwood to get more opportunities next season, to be honest with you. Williams has done well as well, but he's not our first choice left back at the moment. But I think he'll end up, you know, becoming our first choice left back maybe in the next year or two with Brandon Williams, you know, when he does gain a bit more experience in that. So definitely no seeing improvements under Solskjaer. I really, really haven't that. But like I said, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches the summer transfer window. And like I've mentioned on my recent videos, you know, I think we can enjoy the perfect summer transfer window. There is uncertainty, you know, regarding the finances and that, you know, for the summer and that. But obviously, you know, there's a lot of clubs that are going to enjoy an unprecedented summer transfer window. You know, like I said, you know, City, they've got a lot of money. But obviously, they brought financial fair play rules and they're banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. So who is City going to get in? Arsenal? They've had players taking wage cuts. Chelsea, I don't know what they're going to do. I know they've got Hakim Ziyech in, he's going to be joining Chelsea in the summer from Ajax. Liverpool, don't forget, they may not sign anybody. Tottenham, Daniel Levy doesn't like to spend any money. So I think, we can benefit from this. We really, really can. And, we've already revealed our transfer plans for the summer. Solskjaer, did say the other week, that we will enjoy a different transfer window, to the recent ones. We have been criticised for several years, reflecting on like how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also been criticised, for overpaying for players because, let's be honest, in recent years we have overpaid for players. So we've been criticised for this as well. Maybe, there's players over the years that we've brought in who we shouldn't have got rid of. Prime example, maybe we made a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku last summer. We made a mistake of getting rid of Ander Herrera last summer and that. So we have been criticised for this and that. But I've got to make an admission. Something else that's improved under Solskjaer is our business in the transfer markets, because I think we've really, really improved in the transfer markets under Solskjaer and that, Solskjaer's recommended, 5 players in so far in 3 transfer windows and he has spent £220 million on these players. But I think, Daniel James, Pisaka, Maguire, Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo have all been very, very impressive in that. So Solskjaer so far has made 4 permanent signings, and of course he did get, Odion Ighalo in on loan. But they have been very, very impressive. But this summer, it will be Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager in total, and it will be 2nd summer transfer window. Don't forget, Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British players to Manchester United like he did do last summer and that. Because 3 of the 5 players he has recommended in are obviously, British and that. Don't forget, Fred was recently talking as well, like he updated you, and Fred, has revealed his wish ahead of the summer transfer window. And, he believes that Manchester United need to, sign Brazilian players. Because, like I've said, Fred and Andres Pereira are the only Brazilian players we've got at the moment, and I think Fred's the 7th Brazilian player to represent Man United. So we haven't really got a long history of Brazilian players. I know we had Anderson before, who was Brazilian, Klebertson, De Silva, Rafael De Silva, Fabio De Silva, there was also Brazilian as well. But, so I think Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of getting, young British talents in to the football club. But yeah, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for 17 months. So he has been at the football club over a year. But yeah, Solskjaer's job is safe, and, Ed Woodward's confirmed this, quite a few times this season. He's also confirmed that he is willing to back Solskjaer. Ed Woodward, of course, has been at the football club since 2012 and that, we've been very, very critical of Ed Woodward. Not only Ed Woodward, we've had a lot of doubts about the club's ownership, the Glazers. We've had a lot of doubts about the club's ownership, the Glazers and that. So, yeah, so there you go. Ed Woodward, of course, did say quite a few weeks ago, we're not going to be doing business as usual in the summer transfer market. So he actually, ruled out big transfers to Manchester United and that. Like I said, there's still things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to work on. I think he needs to work out his best formation, because he has been changing formation persistently this season as Solskjaer. We obviously, we've been going with like the 4-2-3-1 a lot. We've used the 4-3-3 a few times. Obviously, against the big teams, we've actually gone with 3 at the back. And from my own perception, we look more expansive with 3 at the back. Solskjaer's approach to the games against lower opposition need to improve as well. Because if you look at, the vast majority of our games against lower opposition this season, if you've noticed, Solskjaer hasn't really had a plan A, or he hasn't really had a plan B and stuff like that. So he needs to improve that. Maybe Solskjaer as well does need to make a tactical change. So definitely these things that he does need to work on. We have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years as well, like I mentioned before. And that's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. Like I said, maybe we made a mistake by giving Solskjaer the job permanently. We're giving it a bit too soon, but the main explanation why we give Solskjaer the job permanently was reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well when he was the interim manager. So maybe we made a mistake getting him permanently. Ferguson made a mistake by recommending David Moyes in. That's another mistake that was made. Like I said to you, those players that we've got rid of, that we shouldn't have done, that was a mistake. We've recruited a lot of players in the last 6 or 7 years. We've recruited a lot of players in. And I think a lot of the players we have recruited in haven't been the right calibre players for Manchester United. So that's a mistake in that. Obviously, some people believe us getting rid of Louis van Gaal was a mistake. Wayne Rooney was saying, we shouldn't have got rid of Louis van Gaal, and that should have been given a 3rd season at the football club. And I think there's some players we've given contracts to who we shouldn't have given contracts to. So that's another mistake, Manchester United did make in that. Like I said, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that's obviously, Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho on that. And Man United, haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. We haven't dominated football, English football since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, Ferguson did endure 26 years at Manchester United, and obviously, he brought success to the football club. Ferguson won a total of 38 major honours at Man United. But obviously, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. So from 1986 to 1990, he didn't win anything, Alex Ferguson and that. But it's just since his retirement, we really, really have been playing catch-up. Like I said, Solskjaer won't replicate Ferguson's legacy, but I don't think any manager will replicate Ferguson's legacy at Manchester United. I really, really don't. But yeah, so Solskjaer said, basically he wants around 3 or 4 signings in the summer because he believes we need around 3 or 4 signings to become title contenders next season. This has been the 7th season now we have failed to mount any kind of title challenge up. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so the last time we won it was in Ferguson's last season. Solskjaer's going to be getting rid of players as well this summer, don't forget. We're going to be getting rid of more of the deadwood. I've already gone through with you, the players that are going to leave Manchester United, Jones, Lingard, Pereira, Delors could possibly go. There's still uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future. Angel Gomez, I think he's going to be going on a free at the end of next month when his contract expires, because there's no signs of Angel Gomez whatsoever, signing a new contract at Man United and that. I think Smalling and Rojo will go on permanent transfers like I mentioned. So yeah, so players are going to definitely leave the club. You got the news on Sancho yesterday. The news on him now. Positivity has been coming out regarding him. So that's everything to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.